Hello Jason, it's Tuesday, January 21st. I want to start off this video by just going over a few matters regarding challenges. With that in mind, Part 1, earlier today I finished reading Dracula by Bram Stoker. And according to my original plan, that would mean me moving on to the Silver Linings Playbook by Matthew Quick, but instead I went to the library yesterday. And so as a matter of reading it before it's due back, I decided to pick up Sacre Bleu by Christopher Moore. And so I'll be reading that next, but once I'm done, I'll pick up where I left off with this magically teleporting copy of the Silver Linings Playbook. In other news, last Monday I challenged our viewers to give me ideas for what I should paint for my January painting. And I'm sad to say that the experiment of getting our viewers involved has pretty much failed thus far. But I did get one suggestion, and so that's the suggestion I'm going to paint. My friend Addie suggested that I paint an alternate cover for a book I've read recently. And so I've decided to take on that challenge regarding The Shining by Stephen King. Which means I've got 10 days to figure out exactly what I'm going to paint, and to paint it. That's plenty of time. And that brings me to point the second, new challenge. As you may well know, the nominees have recently been announced for this year's Academy Awards. And as well, as I'm sure you remember, we have a semi-tradition of playing Academy Awards bingo. And so I propose that we adapt this game to a format more appropriate to the Rad Bromance project. Furthermore, this gives me an idea of how we might actually be able to get some viewer participation. And so I propose that we each announce our predictions for who's going to win in every category in one of our videos before the Academy Awards. I propose also that whoever correctly predicts the fewest number of awards should have to suffer a punishment at the discretion of the viewers. In fact, I feel like that should apply to our board games as well. Anyway, I shall be eagerly awaiting your acceptance of this new challenge. And now on to part 3. Not 6. 3. The Murder Mystery. My main concern with the project so far is that the narrative being set up is rather generic. No doubt we've all already heard a number of plots that involve a number of guests arriving at a secluded mansion hoping to acquire wealth from a deceased benefactor. In fact, if that's the story we are going for, then I can already tell you that the Butler did it. And so I think that we should work to come up with a more nuanced situation in which to set our narrative. And so here's my pitch so far. A scientist at a private research facility is convinced that someone is trying to kill him and to take his research. Nobody pays much attention to his pleas until his suspicions are validated and he's murdered. Our protagonist, the detective, is then assigned the case and arrives to find the entire facility vacated except for 12 people. These are our 12 suspects. The detective then closes off the facility and no one is allowed to leave until the murder is solved and the research is recovered. Thus we have a closed-off space with a limited number of people and an ultimate reward hidden somewhere within the facility. That reward being the research that the original scientist was killed for. Now, amongst the 12 suspects, some may be his co-workers, some may be his rivals, but all will have motive to have killed him in searching for that original research. And so for the detective, finding the research and finding the killer are intimately linked. Now, that's just off the top of my head, so obviously the idea is going to have to be developed a lot further from there. But I think that an idea like this at least gives us a variation from what we consider generic. And so now we move at last to part 4, the same part that ends every video. Now, as you know, my strategy to chess so far has been to create chaos. So with that in mind, I'm going to put one of my own pieces in the direct line of fire. Pawn from g4 to f4. Do with that as you will.